Hello everybody, welcome back to day 3 of our market bag crochet along. Hopefully you got on alright with the last 2 rows, and today we are going to see some really big growth in our bag. So by the end of our session your bag will look something like this, but don't panic, it is just the same thing repeated all the way around. So I'm going to show you the one round, but it's much easier than any of the rounds you've had to do up until now. So hopefully you will get this nice and easy, and I've just finished that watching telly, so hopefully you can just chill out and just hit the repeat button in your brain. So we've just slip stitched to the first double crochet to finish the last round. As before, we're going to slip stitch into the next chain space, then we chain 2, which doesn't count as a stitch, and we do 1 mesh repeat. So that's 1 double crochet, chain 3 and 1 double crochet, and then we repeat the same thing in the next chain space. So it's that simple. We just have to do 1 mesh repeat in each chain space going round. So and then once you have finished this round, you are just going to do the same thing for the next, I don't know how, this is round 5, and you're going to do it all the way to round 17, including round 17. So I will just continue to the end of this round, and I'm going to show you some of the key pitfalls that you might come across as you go through this simple, just repeating 1 in every chain space. So one key problem that you might come across is this is 1 mesh repeat just completed there into a chain space, and if you forget to do a double crochet into the next chain space, you might find yourself just adding a chain 3 and double crocheting and keeping repeating that pattern. So be careful that after each mesh repeat you do remember to restart with another double crochet. Another mistake that you might make, you can't see it as clearly on this chain space because this is after a double mesh repeat, but if I just show you here, this is not a chain space, but it has got quite a big gap in between. This is the pentagonal shape that we get. So these are our chain spaces with these big loopy bits, but if you've had quite a loose stitch or a loose tension, you might find that these are quite gappy spaces as well. So just be careful not to insert your hook into that to do your mesh repeat. You need to be making sure you look for these chain 3 spaces all the way around. And I think they're the 2 key errors that you can make, either not starting again with your mesh repeat and just basically doing double crochet, chain 3, double crochet, chain 3, which would not result in the right pattern, or going into the wrong space, or once you've done your double crochet and chain 3, which is one error that I showed you in the previous video, getting a bit confused as to where you're up to and then going back into that double crochet space, which would not be right either, and that would leave your pattern a little bit confused. So just make sure you keep an eye that you're going back into the chain space each time. So I'll just complete this round now and explain how. So I've just finished that round and slip stitched. I'll just show you, just slip stitched to the first double crochet to complete the round. And once you've completed the round, you want to double check that you've got 20 mesh repeats going round. So you can easily distinguish, they are a little bit murky to distinguish, but if you count these chain 3 spaces, so you should have 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and then back to our join. Now from there, I'd suggest at this point that you either get something to just tie around this point here, or a stitch marker if you've got a stitch marker, something to mark that this is row 5, and then that way you won't need to keep track all the way up. You can just go back and recount your rows when you've done a chunk, because you want to do this now all the way from row 5 to row 17. So that's quite a lot of repeats. So if you put a little marker there, you can then always just count back through to see how many you've done. And once you've finished, you will end up with a bag that looks something like this. You can see here that I've put a little stitch marker in there. That was my row 5, and this is all the way to row 17. So once you've done that, we'll be ready to finish the last row and move on to the handle. Now, I'm not going to post a video tomorrow because that's quite a lot of rows to repeat. So I'm going to give you 2 nights or 2 days, whenever you work best, to get that big bulk of the body done, and then I'll be back on Tuesday for the next part. I hope you are enjoying this project, and that this next bit gets to just be a bit of a mindful session as you're just repeating the same pattern all the way around. And I look forward to seeing you on Tuesday for the next part. Please do, as always, share a picture of your progress in the comments below. Happy weekend. See you soon. Bye.